All right. Like Saint. Yeah. I have mods enabled right now, so there's no creatures. It's just a practice run, but I think after this I'll do a real run. Or I guess a no reset run is kind of what I'm going for. Or, I just remembered an idea that I had a while ago, but I'll talk about that later. Whoa. Slow down, man. I'm also trying out medium quality because maybe it's less laggy than high quality, and the shelter glitch still works because it doesn't work for low quality for some reason. Also, there's a potential time save by using a bomb. Saints can store one item in their stomach between runs. So you can choose any one item that you can put in your stomach to bring to the start of any run, right? And one option is a bomb that you use to blow yourself up. And when you die, the timer stops. The in-game timer stops when you die. But, if you activate an echo, then you're guaranteed to end the cycle. Because of the echo, it sends you back to your last shelter, right? What the heck was that? Did I hit my head on the ceiling? So what you do is you blow yourself up with a bomb, which ends the cycle. Or ends the timer, stops the timer, but you still get to like continue as normal. The echo sends you back to your shelter, you get your increased karma, right? So you just gain a few seconds of the timer not ticking because you're dead. Which is, has the potential to be a banned strategy, actually. Because there's some situations, let's say there's an echo that you, or let's say you enter a room, right? You enter a room, you activate the echo, and then you blow yourself with the bomb. If you exit out of the game on the game over screen, that's a game over, right? It counts as a death. You don't gain any karma because you died before you talked to the echo, right? If you just sit there and wait for the cutscene to normally end, right? The way that echo dialogue stops, you know, like it fades away, goes to the karma increasing, you know. If you just wait and let that happen, then it happens as normal. You get your increased karma from the echo. But that might mean that you need to wait for the dialogue, because normally what we do is we just leave the room, right? We leave the room, the echo stops talking, and we get the increased karma, and that's it. It's pretty quick, right? But if you die, if you blow yourself up with a bomb, timer stops. But then you just have to sit there in that room and waiting for the dialogue to finish, which is slower real time, right? We're sitting there and waiting for longer, even though it's kind of just a way to manipulate the in-game timer to be, say, a lower number, even though it's not actually faster, right? So those strategies are kind of questionable. If it's like actually like if you're doing any, it's like good for the speedrun, you know? Like you're not actually going faster, you're just kind of abusing the way the timer works, right? So maybe that kind of stuff shouldn't be allowed. There's another similar kind of glitch where if you pause the game when an iterator is talking, when there's, I guess maybe it works when an echo is talking too. Although, you know, you can skip echo dialogue, so it doesn't matter. Like right here, I'm gonna fall into this pit and die. The timer stopped a little bit earlier than it would have normally, so I guess I've always been saving just a little bit of time by falling there without knowing it. I just kind of did it because it's funny. I didn't realize it was actually a time save. You know, it's like less than a second probably. What was I saying? Right, so iterators, their dialogue can take a while to scroll, right? So most of the time you're sitting there waiting for the dialogue to finish showing up. But if you pause the game, the dialogue continues to scroll, but the timer is paused, right? So what you can do is you can wait for the next line of dialogue to show up, pause the game, let the whole thing show up, the whole text message, or the whole dialogue, right? Let that show up. And then when it's finished, unpause the game, and it immediately moves on to the next line of dialogue, right? Without really progressing the in-game timer that much. I've been told this is not allowed, but I don't know if that's like written down anywhere in the rules. It's a very specific thing that you need to do. So I don't do that. But there's not really many runs where you talk to iterators like without skipping their dialogue. This is story percent. I would feel kind of bad if I took your record, okay, for any percent. So I'm just gonna do story percent instead. Ooh, you know what I'm actually gonna do? I think I will eat a spore puff. And I will keep that and try to finish the run. This is a practice run with no creatures, by the way. I've been talking about, oh shoot, yeeks are disabled too. I kind of need those guys. I'm not entirely sure if I want to do the bomb strats. So how does it work? You meet an echo, you spit out the bomb, leave the screen, and then blow yourself up, and then wait for it to fade out naturally. Or no, these are items. Jetfish, reindeer, grappling worms, small centipede, hazer, and yeeks. So you also blow yourself up for the final. Like I said, if you're gonna blow yourself up for every echo, that also includes the final one, right? The one that gives you enough karma. Or max karma. Okay, let me explain this whole system. I don't like creatures. Yes, there are strategies to get around the creatures most of the time, and some of those strategies are really interesting. A lot of the strategies are just waiting. Oh, there's a centipede blocking the pipe that I need to go into. So I cannot enter the pipe and progress until that centipede moves out of the way. And then it's just a waiting game, and like a bit of randomness too of like what the centipede is gonna do, right? And this kind of situation is very annoying in speedruns. So I like to annoy it, or I like to avoid it. It is annoying too. And there's also a lot of situations where that creature might kill you, right? You enter a room, and then suddenly a lizard shows up and it kills you before you have time to react, right? That can happen. And then, oh shoot, you're just dead, time to restart the run, right? That's annoying. And if you're doing a lot of runs, starting from the beginning every time, you are likely to, let's say you're equally likely to die at any point of the run. That means that you're going to disproportionately play the beginning of the run, because every time you die, it goes back to the start, and you very rarely can make it all the way to the end without dying, right? So, by disabling creatures, I remove like 99% of the ways to die in this run. Maybe not falling to your death by being dumb. But you know, I'm not likely to die in this run. So I could practice the entire run equally. If I did a lot of practice attempts, right, then eventually I would have practiced equally, or the entire run equally, every segment of it. I'm considering a different approach, actually. I'll talk about this now since some speedrunners have showed up. Hey, guys. I've considered doing segmented runs, and not like... Oh, the geeks are in a really bad spot. Not like segmented by like every single room, which I've done before, but more like by each shelter, right? So maybe I make a save file that's Rubicon, right? Right when I enter Rubicon, make a save file, and then just store that somewhere. And what I can do is I can open up that save file, put that into the game, and then just run Rubicon, right? And just practice that like, I don't know, like 10, 20 times. Just get really familiar with the Rubicon split with creatures, right? So that I can, you know, better learn like the way the creatures behave, where they tend to end up. You know, like, oh, this red lizard tends to be in this spot in this room, so avoid that, you know, when I enter. Or like do something else, you know, whatever strategies I come up with. But since I'm not like doing the rest of the run, I can only focus on Rubicon, which is like where a lot of bad creatures end up being, right? And I can just do that for each individual segment and determine like, okay, this segment is pretty easy. I don't really need to practice that much. This segment has a lot of creatures. I need to figure it out more. So if I just do a normal run with creatures from the start, you know, that's the same problem. I don't get as many tips that get to Rubicon. But there's some things about Rain World that I don't understand. Actually, most of Rain World that I don't understand. If I start at Rubicon, right? If I enter Rubicon, make it all the way to the end of Rubicon, and right before I make it to the end, I exit out of the game and restart the cycle. Or even if I use dev tools to press R and restart the cycle like that, right? Is that cycle exactly the same as if I were to enter Rubicon for the first time? Or are there some variables that change, right? Like maybe creatures act slightly differently. Maybe dynamic difficulty increases, which, you know, slightly makes creatures' behavior more aggressive, you know? I don't know. And I don't know how many like hidden mechanics there are like that. And I would like to just restart the cycle over and over and over again to practice it, right? But I don't know if that's having some subtle change with creature behavior, creature spawns, or something. I messed that up. The kind of thing where... Thank you, Yeek. Oh my goodness. Okay, that wasn't worth doing, but... There's also some routing stuff here that I'm not familiar with. Like, is it faster to eat food first and then bring the yeek with you into the shelter? Or is it faster to drop the yeek, pick up the food, and eat it in the shelter? Because I know that Iced likes to bring the yeek into the shelter. Yeah, and I like that approach too. Practice the movement on its own. Practice the movement on its own, get really good at that, and then when you introduce creatures, at least you're better at moving, so maybe you can avoid them, right? I forgot to wait in the shelter. This would be like, I'd probably reset if this happened. There we go. Do you need to re-enter the game? It doesn't just sitting there waiting for a little bit achieve the same effect of the shelter taking longer to open, or it taking longer for you to exit the shelter, which is what lets the yeeks move around more? Why is that happening so much? You know, you would think that holding up would make you go faster, because that makes the tongue shorter, so it's it kind of like pulls you in more, you know. Okay, so isn't the strategy for this room stand here, you jump to get the spider's attention, and you take this path? Are the spiders likely to go down if you jump on that spot? Also, hold on. There we go. E slide. That was a really bad spot to do an E slide. Oh, yeah, jump. That's like a gold split on this room. Ah, no items. Oh, I know. Since you have to sit and wait in the shelter anyway, if you have a spore puff in your stomach, you spit it out, and then exit the shelter, and then use it to hand swap with the yeek. And then if the spiders get in the way, you just throw the spore puff that you are already holding. And then after you throw it away, you are still hand swapped, so you can pick up rocks and then do like EI jumps. And if you were holding a bomb, you would have to like throw that away. I guess you just wouldn't pick it up again after you do the hand swap. So you could still do that with a bomb. Throw the yeek at it. You just like spam throw and grab to get them out of the way. So I want to try to fast fall here. I think I messed it up. But that might work. And also, because the Iced has the yeek in the shelter, they bring it to subterranean, which I don't think actually saves you any time, because for the first 3 minutes of sub, you're falling and not jumping, and then you start swinging. It might be faster if you're holding a yeek. Also, you kind of want to just hold on to gooey ducks instead. I don't know. I did mess up the fast fall. And remember, there's an actor here. So, I don't know, I guess you save like 2 seconds per echo with a bomb. And then like 5 seconds later. It's like 15 seconds maybe of time save across the whole run. I guess that's significant. Or the alternative is to, you know, if I had a spore puff and a centipede gets in the way, that centipede could be a 15-second time loss if I don't get rid of it quickly, right? Also, I think the hand swap setup is more consistent without a bomb. Not really worried about blowing yourself up. Is there a timing to pressing down when swinging? Do you just hold down the whole time, or? And I feel like holding up also might let you go faster. And this room is incredibly unrealistic. Usually there'd be like 20 creatures in here. Hold down the whole time. Okay. I will not be able to try that until after the undergrowth echo. By the way, you can also do this glitch in this room, but it's I think it's really bad. You get put like way down in the corner, or I think you get put out of bounds. I don't know. It's bad. I tested it and it like was not worth it. Falling asleep while eating. It's good. Oh, no, it puts you at the bottom of the room, which lets you get here faster, but then it takes longer to get back up to the top, because you have to leave later anyway, so I think it cancels out. Unless you tested the times exactly. The same. It's funny, did you glitch? That was not great. That room is actually RNG if like lights show up so that you can actually see what you're doing. Save sign in case you die. Well, I don't want to die. My current PB might have a death in it, actually. Like every single Saint run that I've ever done has death, probably. Okay, the shelter opens up quickly anyways. Casual, yeah. I'm such a casual, I don't even have creatures on. Yeah, I don't like them. They get in the way. I'm just gonna get rid of them. Yeah, your run has like 6 deaths in it. Oops. I have not watched another person's speedrun. Well, actually, that's not true. I don't often watch other speedruns. I think I watched Shrub's Pebbles percent run as a reference a while back. And then some Dingus's Hunter Pebbles percent run. I watched like the first half of that. I was like, oh, that's an interesting route, so maybe I'll try that. I considered doing that run. I don't know, I might still try it. But I think the start of that run is pretty much equally as difficult as story percent, which was hard. I mean, story percent is like, the beginning is kind of hard, the middle is really easy, and then the end is like stupid. This room is like the worst, because like, there's like an 80% chance that when you're leaving, scavengers show up and ruin your day. If there really was a run where you could use the Vulture Mask for the whole thing, and easily get the Vulture Mask in the first place, that would be great. Whoa, okay, I see. That's what you're talking about. Okay. We have to like wait until the very bottom. Get that like boost from like getting like slingshotted. It's interesting. Okay, just go into the pipe. It might be better to go through this pipe here. Oh, but then I'm a little bit low. I think I just kind of messed that up. The dreaded centipede room, or like tunnel. I lost all my speed. It like, I think it angles the tongue lower. Like, seems to be like somewhat close to the ceiling to do that. I think when you're in the depths, time moves slower IRL. So it feels like you spend forever accessing the depths. It's only been like 5 minutes. It's like, I've done the room like 2 times. You actually need to slow down your brain to get the timings right on everything. And if you don't adjust in time, like if you're... Because what always happens is I practice depths, I get decent at it, like, oh, I can do a slide bounce. And then I do an actual run, and by the time I get to the depths, I've forgotten how to do a slide bounce in the depths. I mess them all up. And then I don't attempt the run again for another 3 months. Hello, welcome to the stream. Probably shouldn't swim boost, that's Saints. See if I remember the... Oh, the other strategy is the fire bug egg, because it's food, right? And if you like really need to kill like a mirror spurt or something, although that's like, I feel like that's gonna be super situational. But if you really need a little extra bit of food, what is the route here? This is story percent, so I need to go to moon, then pebbles, then pebbles, then moon, and then leave. And moon is this way. I should probably have enabled the jellyfish, since they're more like a static hazard than a creature, but whatever. Secretly reviewed it. I don't know. I do want to do a little bit of review it later. Man, I kinda hate review it. I'm sorry. I mean, it's mostly good, but then like the beginning of the run really sucks. It's horrible things. I know you're probably gonna beat my run soon. Which makes sense because it's a really bad run. But I'm also not capable of beating it either. For some reason. Yeah, let's spend another year like finding new like little optimizations and like movement tech and things for consistency and stuff, and then like not improve the run at all. That'd be great. I probably shouldn't go down here. Well, I'm already made it this far. Like all the hand swap stuff that I did, I don't think it helped at all. I don't know. I don't think that made any difference. This is bad cycle. Yep. Oh, okay. I was so slow that it ended up being a good cycle. It's one echo off on this music. Oh, can you hear the music? Yes, I did change that. Nope, get back. It's fun. Yeah, sure. What a fun character in addition to the game. I wish that eat slide worked, but you end up going too fast to like climb up quickly. I guess you could slow down on purpose. Oh, that was fall damage there. When is it happening? Yesterday. This room is actually a lot faster if you have a spear, because you could throw boost with the spear and then pick it up afterwards, since you don't throw it that far. So there's a lot of opportunities to just throw the spear, pick it up, throw it again. Just repeat that for the entire room. Bitrate. Oh yeah, the snow. Yeah, sorry, the quality is probably not great. This is the wrong direction. Ooh, let me test this real quick. I want to see if I can hold down here. That actually felt slower, maybe. I guess I messed it up. I guess that was still decent. Hand swap scrap for Riven Underhang. A new one? Does it involve a grapple worm? I know that you can hand swap at the beginning to like do a few E slides. Use the grapple. Oh yeah, because you could do some like you can swing under like an entire room. Yeah, I don't like that one. What is the food strat here? Eat the stuff and then like leave one fruit behind or something. Cause I need to shelter here. I guess I could. Oh, I don't know. Actually remember to eat the food. Kind of weird grapple there. Does this feel like such an inefficient shelter? I guess it is kind of like the same distance from like Pebbles and the Echo and the path back to Shoreline, right? It kind of just feels like it's far away from everything, right? Like there is a point in between the Echo and 5 Pebbles that's like a lot closer, but there's no shelter around there. Wait, I think I already die. This is the last Echo, right? And you just fall into the death pit. So you end up dying anyway without using a bomb. So technically for 3 of the Echoes, you can already just like find a way to die without a bomb. Although the farm-raised one is probably not that fast. Unless you really quickly set up a fastball. I feel like I should like practice this room because you can build up a lot of speed. I just get a Discord notification all the time. I think I would try using the Sport Puff. And then what you can do is swap it out for a Cherry Bomb at the end of the run to get through Rubicon. Because maybe, if it works out well, you could use the Cherry Bomb to scare away the Orange Lizards in the final room. It hurts so much to watch a speedrun be on good pace, and then the Orange Lizards show up, and you have to spend like a whole minute ascending each of them one by one, and then clearing them out of the pipes, and then eventually you can make it through. Like, it just takes so long. If the Orange Lizards just happen to be there, right? Which they probably are going to be. It's like if you're really quiet, maybe you can sneak through without really worrying about them. Unless they're just already chilling in the pipes. Which is probably still a possibility. Oh, this it's still a slow shelter animation. Is it faster if you exit out of the game first? No, I did die. Or no, I should press the game over. No, that doesn't work though, right? Die in the shelter? Okay. Oh, that's the problem. The ceiling is higher there, so it's hard to continue the grapples. So I guess I should do like 2 grapples really quickly. I do have fight. I sometimes forget about that. Yeah, hello and goodbye. There's probably some game out there that plays around with the idea of some sort of ability that overrides saving. Because there's some situations in Rain World where you can save the game, do something, then exit out of the game and reload that save, but then that thing has still happened, you know. Pebbles has been ascended, and that's not going to change even though I exit out of the game, right? It's music from the stream, no? Yes. It's not in game, it's from the playlist. It's like it's Braid, right? The game with the time travel. Like time travel on its own is not that useful. Not that useful, except for just like letting you retry something. But if some things are unaffected by the time travel, then it's like, you know, there's a lot of puzzles that you can come out of that. Does this tutorial show up after some amount of time of using the Ascension? I feel like the way it works. Thank you. I hate doing that. shoreline theme in Shoreline. Not even, doesn't even play in Shoreline. It plays in Waterfront Facility, which is the same place. Smash my head. I love when people say that, and then someone corrects them. Like, oh, why are you saying my head? That's part of the that's part of it already. You're saying it twice, and it's like, yes, everyone is aware. Whoops. Do this. Swimming backwards is the most efficient way to do it, of course. Whoops, and then we have the jetfish problem, so probably stop flying. Which song is this? This is The Coast. Which this game is not used in vanilla. Yes. Okay, I'm not crazy. The ultimate game's nowhere. But it is playing in Shoreline right now. There's some point here where you should activate the ability to like make the most use of it. Like it's just barely charged for how long you want to use it for. I guess I can use it this room too. That's awesome. Go down, dude. Yep, thank you, Twitch. Very good. Do I have wall bounces on? Dude. No wait, it's expedition. Expedition complete. It's like a bingo. This doesn't play on the bingo though. Man, has like anyone done an expedition since bingo mode? Like why would you? Oh, that's weird. Open gates? We're doing this discussion. We cannot answer that question. Like vast on life or something. I feel like the way I've always felt about gates is that the only thing that gates do is change your routing. Like, they're very, very relevant for Saints, right? Because what gates are open changes the routing, because you start with very low karma, right? And the only way to increase your karma is to get echoes. So you have to go to the Sky Islands Echo first, and then you go to the Chimney Echo, and then you go to the farm, you know. There's an order to it, and after a few, it doesn't really matter. For rivulets, you know, the, what was I saying about rivulet? You know, if the gate was open, you could just immediately go to the gates right when you started the campaign, right? But you have to go down to a shelter first to increase your karma, and then you go back up to the same gate that you just passed by, right? So if gates were open, or if we started at max karma, whatever the solution was, you know, would we still do the same routing, as in Rivulet has to go down to shelter first, even though they have enough karma to go to the gate already? But going down to that shelter and then karma caching for 3 minutes really sucks, and kind of kills my motivation to do the speedrun, especially if you immediately die to a scavenger afterwards and you reset the run. And I'm sure that, or actually I'm not sure, but maybe there's someone out there who would have speedrun rivulets, but they're like, I don't want to karma cache, and they just didn't do the run at all. Or maybe they didn't do speedruns at all, you know. If they wanted to run Pebble Percent, I guess Pebble Percent is the main one that is karma caching, right? That was like their introduction to the speedrun, like, hey, Pebbles Percent or Monk Pebbles Percent is like the main category that you should do as a new speedrunner. And then they do it and they found karma caching annoying, so they just didn't speedrun. They just stopped speedrunning. And maybe, you know, without karma caching, more players would be interested in doing it without that really annoying step that is part of so many speedruns. Force the same routing. And since the karma caching adds the time, right, we'd probably account for that. What was the idea? Like a mod that automatically karma caches instantly, but it adds the timer? How good of a speedrun when I say this run is? I don't like this run when actually doing it because of a handful of really bad creature spawns. But I really like Saint movement. And it's very diverse. I mean, if y'all want to agree, after like a month of the Watcher being out, there's so many unknowns though in talking about the Watcher. If, hypothetically, the Watcher speedrun has karma caching in it, that's like kind of annoying. We could just agree from the start, let's not do that, you know? And just make it so that every single speedrun just has that, so that we don't have to deal with like old runs versus new runs. No, just remove karma completely. And I mean, karma caching is not really a skill. You can mess it up. You can get a time loss. I wonder if it's faster to exit out of the game here. But yeah, you can get a time loss in karma caching, but it's very unlikely, and you might just like restart the runs at the very beginning. But you're not really. It's not really like, oh, let me like improve my karma caching to get better at this. Oh, yeah. Let me fix this. I mean, karma does serve a mechanic. Not very well, but something I've noticed from watching people play Rainworld for the first time, something that happens quite often is they go to the industrial gate quite quickly, but they don't have enough karma. So they spend more time in outskirts building up karma, and then they end up on the bottom left of the region. And by the time they get there, they have enough karma to enter a drainage system. So they've accidentally gone to the wrong place, even though it's a higher karma requirements. And Farm Raises does much a better job at preventing players from getting through because it has some difficult platforming to get there in the first place. And there's a scavenger toll in the way, which you don't even know how to pay because the pearl is in a weird spot, right? So it's basically impossible for new players to go to farm raise immediately, whereas it's actually maybe like equally likely for them to go to drainage system versus industrial. I mean, players even struggle to like find the industrial gate in the first place, or find the shelter right next to it, right? Where are you? Guardian. I guess Guardians are higher up because they're technically vanilla. Guardian, they don't even have an icon. Yeah, I think there is a... There is a mod. I don't know if the mod exists or if it was just hypothetical. But if it did exist, I don't think it's allowed. I mean, how much of speedrunning is just, how fast can I beat this game? And how much of it is, I want to enjoy my experience doing this self-imposed challenge. So if necessary, I'm going to change the rules of the game to make it more enjoyable, if it is annoying. And does it matter more for the game to like stay the same, to be like unmodified, like the same as if a new player were to play the game? Just, you know, it's a skilled player speedrunning it instead. Versus a speedrunner enjoying the experience of the speedrun so that they actually want to do it and improve their time, you know? So we can sit and be like, yeah, I really don't like karma caching because it's annoying and it just takes a long time. Maybe you can get used to doing it, you know, just at some point to be like, yeah, I don't mind karma caching. I'm like listening to like music or like a podcast or something. I don't know. So it's just it's a nice little break in between runs, right? Or maybe it's unfair to console players who can't get the mod and they still have the karma cache. I guess karma caching in the first place is an exploit, right? If we're really staying true to the game's mechanics, we should be going and getting food and sleeping normally to increase karma. But it backflies. I need to remember to fly when I enter this pipe, because it's really hard to climb over the tongue. Or we could just turn off the karma requirements in the remix settings and just add to the timer like 2 minutes or whatever the karma caching would add. But you still have the shelter, or I guess the route would stay the same. But there's some situations, like I think for Gourmand glory percent, there's a possibility that not karma caching is faster because the karma requirements are not very high to get from shaded to industrial to chimney, right? I think it stays below 3, or I forget what it is exactly, but there's enough food in shaded for you to eat as you travel through it, so that by the time you get to chimney, you have enough karma, right? So it doesn't really, you know, maybe it's faster to like run through the game, eat, oh, that's close. Run through the game, eat your meals and whatever. Shelter when you get to a shelter because they all are pretty convenient spots. And not karma cache at all, right? That's a routing possibility. That would be lost if we just turn off karma requirements. I don't know how much people have like tried to figure out, like maybe in some situations not karma caching is faster than just eating food if it's in a convenient spot and if it's also convenient to shelter. Yeah, no randomized cycles is also a funny one. For rivulets, is this a controversial thing to say? Maybe part of why rivulet story percent why it was enabled specifically for that run is because Iced ran that run, and Iced is a speedrun moderator. And they were like, it was annoying for random cycles to be a thing. I'm just gonna change the setting because I can. And maybe some other people could have been, you know, maybe whoever ran Artificer could have been like, I really want the like I really want like scavenger karma to be like set, right? I really want that change to happen. Maybe if they really push for it, they could make that change happen. But since they weren't like a moderator, they weren't confident about making that change happen, so they just never mentioned it. This is a hypothetical, by the way. Just like minor quality of life things that people just like don't think that they can change the rules on because they're not a moderator, or they don't think they have any ability to change it. But Ice was like, it's annoying, I'm just gonna change the setting and change the rules to fit that. So Riv story percent was the one special category that got no random cycle duration. Even though like Riv Pilgrimage could equally benefit from the same thing. Or like Hunter Story, right, has a pretty tight cycle. If you get lucky and get really long cycles, you can potentially skip an entire shelter. Or several, actually. Same with Monk Story. And if you really, really care about cycle duration, I guess you could just exit out of the game repeatedly until you do roll a good cycle length. I messed that up really badly. Oh, I dropped my items because I'm holding down. That sucks. I was gonna throw boost with those. Right here. Or I was trying to throw boost right there too. Like, isn't this a nice place to throw boost? Oh well. I guess I just keep flying through that whole thing. Dot dot dot. I mean, how many people are speedrunning the game actively right now? Would implementing some sort of like karma cache skip negatively affect previous runs? I guess if the time is adjusted correctly, then it wouldn't. Oh, I actually do need to go through this cutscene. Thank you for reminding me. Would old runners feel like they missed out on a quality of life change that should have been made earlier? Or would that just be a reason for them to come back to speedrunning? Like, hey, that's been fixed now. Maybe I should try doing some more speedruns again. Is that the concern? That there's old runners, well, people who ran the game like a year or two ago. Like old runners who feel like things need to stay the way they were. I guess then the priority would probably be, oh, nice RNG. If the priority is to keep things as they were, then it would basically be find a way to properly adjust the timer so it's exactly the same, and then do the same routes just without the karma caching. So you have to go to a shelter. You have to go to the same shelters basically. Take the same exact route as if karma was a thing, but without the like karma caching. You do not need to finish this cutscene, but you do need to do it to save the item in your stomach. I think I'm not sure if it's just like any item that you bring as a Rubicon stays with you or something like that. But and like, what about like let's say like a mid-level runner who like might have a few deaths, but they just keep doing the run anyway. What if one of those deaths would lower their karma enough so that they wouldn't be able to go through gates, right? If karma requirements were turned off, that would not work. If karma cache was instant, like with a mod, then sorry, is this really loud? If karma caching was instant, then karma would still be a thing and dying would be a penalty, right? Same with like starting with max karma. Actually, I don't need to swim anymore. Hey, dude. Yo, you're hella broken. Fez ending for any percents, maybe? That's an ending? I thought it was like a little Easter egg and then you just kind of move on. I don't know. I wonder if you could go into your files, change these images. Oh, there's not many images. But if you could go and make it display something else, that'd be kind of funny. I need to remind myself what that ending looks like. It is the credits. How do you set this up? I forget, like, what are the... Oh, there is a... Oh, you have to reset your save file if you do this. According to this message, it says you can only do it like once per save file. But if that's an ending, technically that counts for any percent, yeah? If it's faster to do that whole sequence instead of going up to the top of Rubicon. And you get to take the easier routes on the right side, and you skip the like really bad rooms up top. And I guess that's the rules of any percent, right? You can get any ending, any way to beat the game. That'd be kind of funny to actually try to do that. Do I have to do anything? Do I need to be moving? Yeah, less Rubicon. There's in like on the right side of Rubicon, in the area that's next to drainage system. It is in drainage system, the drainage system part of Rubicon. There's like this little sequence you can do, this puzzle that's a reference to Fez, I think, which is a very like secret heavy game. And if you do that sequence, some stuff happens and it counts as it like goes to credits, right? So technically that is an ending, I guess. But it said that if you do it, actually I don't know if this is true. This is just like what some random video said, but it's like you can only do it once on a save file. You need the game? Is that how it works? Wait, hold on. Okay, never mind. Maybe it'd be kind of strange to have a requirement for a speedrun to like download some like save file. Wow, Rubicon content in arena mode, so cool. Just test. This should be permanently active now. I think I'll do a real run. Sport buff. And I'll also bring the volume back. I think there's a few remix settings that I need to change too. I guess we'd want to hear more from more members of the community and people who actually do speedruns, or people who maybe are interested in speedruns but don't run them, to see what they think about karma gates. I do think that the Watcher is maybe an opportunity to change the rules. If there are some minor changes that we can make to the way we do the run to make it better, maybe it'd be good to make those changes as early as possible. For like the long-term health of the category. There's so many unknowns though. I think that there is maybe a high chance that the campaign is quite long, because it's just a single slug guy, right? Because with Downpour, it's totally reasonable that some of the endings were pretty short. Like Artificer is pretty much just go to Pebbles and then go to Metropolis, and that's it, right? And if you're focused on that goal, you could beat this campaign very quickly. The speedrun is one of the shorter story percent runs, right? And I guess with Survivor, right? Survivor is not just go to Pebbles and then go to the depths, right? It's explore the world, right? You know, figure out what's going on in all these regions, talk to Moon maybe, talk to Pebbles and then go back to Moon, maybe bring a Neuron back, maybe try to bring some Pearls back to Moon. There's so much more to do in your first playthrough of Survivor, or maybe multiple playthroughs of Survivor, right? But I guess that, you know, Survivor does have any percent, which is basically just rush to the depths. Even though it is a long campaign at first, you can make it quick. But like, what if there's a possibility that the Watcher, since it's just one slug cat, maybe, I guess I don't know, maybe there's a second one, or like some sort of like time travel mechanic that's technically like separate campaigns. Who knows what is gonna happen with the Watcher? Let's say, you know, since it's not like 5 characters, one slug cat needs to carry the whole DLC, so it might be a really long, drawn-out campaign, kind of like Spearmaster, where it's like you make your way up to Pebbles, then do stuff with Pebbles, go to Moon, which might involve like going to like garbage waste, shoreline, struts, and then up through Moon's interior, and then over Press. Like, that's quite a long trip. And then once you get to Moon, you have to go all the way back to Sky Islands, right? What if like the Watcher is like a whole quest where you have to go like to many different regions across a very large area, and not just rushing straight to like the depths equivalent, you know? Or maybe there's multiple endings, and like one of the endings is like that, where there's a whole lot of things to do and it's like a whole quest, and maybe one of the endings is just like go into this thing and that's it, right? I think there's a possibility of multiple endings. And yeah, like Hunter has that, like you could like revive Moon, or you could just go to the depths. You know, base Rainworld kind of does a good job at providing shortcuts. Like Drainage is a shortcut to the depths. The Wall is a shortcut up to 5 Pebbles, if you really want to skip a lot of content, if you're able to, you know? If you can swim to Drainage and if you can climb up the wall. They're kind of meant to be more difficult. I think that's what I'm hoping for the Watcher. It is a full-length campaign with like a whole lot of content and stuff. But if you want to speedrun it, there's shortcuts to take if you are able to take those shortcuts, you know. Or there are like some short endings, some long endings. I guess even the most like intentional, like intended percent for Survivor is not that bad of a speedrun. It does go through memory crypts, and it does also go through unfortunate developments. I think there's a high chance of there being a memory crypts equivalent in the Watcher. Yeah, there's also going to be more updates. I feel kind of bad for the developers. They probably weren't trying to make people worry about the Watcher's release. I don't think I am worried. I think people are overreacting. They were trying to be hype, like, hey guys, we're going to give you a whole DLC, and then we're going to keep updating it with more content. Isn't that great? Isn't it so cool to give you more content after the initial release? But instead people interpret it as, it's going to be unfinished, and later we're going to finish it by updating the things that should have been in the game in the first place, right? I do believe there's a high chance that it is not going to be like that. It's going to release fully completed, and then they're going to add more, whatever that means. How do you add more to a finished story? I don't know. Like Hunter is technically more that was added to Survivor. Also, some creatures like drop eggs, egg bugs, noodle flies, I think were all creatures that were added. Plus, you know, cyan lizards, red lizards, king vultures, red centipedes. Those were the hard mode creatures that were added to the Hunter's campaign, but they can still be a part of Survivor's campaign if you lineage. Meanwhile, the YouTube chat is talking about something completely unrelated. Thanks, guys. Keep it up. And honestly, thinking about it more, I think it might even be better for a game to release segmented. Maybe I'm very biased because of the games that I grew up with, but like Terraria, released forever ago. It's like over 10 years old, I think. And it released technically incomplete, right? If you consider the current version of Terraria complete, or maybe 1.3 is the final version of Terraria, that like in terms of content, maybe 1.0 was incomplete. And when they finally released 1.3, the game was finally finished. But I think, you know, the early versions of Terraria were playable. They were enjoyable. Like there was a community, people liked the game. And then like, oh shoot, a new update with like more end game content. That's great, right? And the constant updates that Terraria received kind of kept the game alive for a very long time. Because you could stick around in the community knowing that the game would eventually receive more content. If Terraria had just released in 1.3, and then maybe there was like a 1.4 update, or even if it just released in 1.4 immediately with no updates at all, would the game be as active as it is now? I don't know. Because sometimes games do release, and then that's it. Like Nine Souls. I really like Nine Souls. It's a great game, but that's it. That's all the Nine Souls we're ever going to get, most likely. Unless they do release some sort of DLC or sequel, which is unlikely, maybe. But, you know, Nine Souls is also the kind of game that'd be hard to add content to. You know, Terraria being more sandbox does make that much more possible. They can just kind of add stuff. Just add it into the mix of the world. But, you know, Nine Souls released. People played it, people enjoyed it, I played it, and I enjoyed it, and then that's it. There's no more Nine Souls, and I'm not going to come back to the game later for an update. That's just kind of it, you know. But, you know, maybe maybe that's just me, you know, enjoying when games stay around for a long time. But, like, what about games like Outer Wilds? Or maybe some people would even consider Rainworld to be one of these kind of games. Like Outer Wilds, which I'll try to avoid spoilers, is a pretty complete experience. I don't imagine you could add content to that game regularly. But people are probably very happy with the state the game is in, right? Even though you do just play the game and you finish it and that's it. Like, that's the point, you know? And I'm just too obsessed with games that have infinite replay value and opportunities to add content, even in the form of mods. I don't know. Anyway, let's do a speedrun. I forgot to change remix. I do wonder, how do you update Rainworld? Like more content. Like here's Survivor Campaign. Oh, here's the Sky Islands update. Here's the drainage system update. that would be kind of strange, wouldn't it? Here's a creature that you just didn't find before. They're just so sneaky. You only found it when this update came out. I guess like egg bugs were just kind of added in. But they're also not a very impactful creature. They just kind of chill out. I don't think any of these are problematic, right? Add more rooms. I guess Downpour did add some expansions to regions like Sky Islands. It also changed that one tile in Farm Raise that was really annoying. And filtration. Okay, they probably should not have changed filtration, I'll be honest. That was a pretty long popcorn plant. Yeah, I do feel a bit split. Oh, creatures, they exist. Like, I like when games get regular content updates. Which kind of makes them, like, infinitely replayable. You can always return for more content, right? But also, is Rainworld the kind of game where that's the correct option? Maybe not. And sometimes games just released with so much content, they stick around for a long time. Especially difficult games. Like Spelunky 2 released pretty much exactly in the state it is now. I guess they added like multiplayer and a few balance changes. But for the most part, they did have all the content. But the content was like there was so much of it. There was so much diversity. There was so much diversity and challenge that people stuck around to like do speedruns and score runs and you know, just trying to beat the game in the first place is pretty difficult. That was a challenge, right? And maybe it is a little bit toxic for a game to try to stick around forever. You know, a game could just release and be great and people enjoy it and then move on, or a game could try to like hold on to people's attention and get them to play forever, which is where you start to introduce microtransactions and a battle pass. Nice EI jump. Sorry, I guess Downpour did come with a lot of extra non-story content. What if challenges and expeditions and Jolly Couple? What if that was like an extra update after the initial 5 campaigns released? People would be happy about that, you know. We got our content, and we got our main story, and then we got a bit of extra content on the side that has nothing to do with story, but it's still fun. Although I don't know what kind of stuff they would add other than the stuff that already exists, you know, the challenges and expedition, whatever. This is a trailer song. I think it was for the Jolly Co-op trailer. Yeah. All the trailer music is not used in game, even though it's really good. Also some of my favorite music in the OST, but yeah, not in game. Hey, dude. That was clean. That wasn't. Oh, I should have thrown the spore puff when I entered the room, or when I was like about to enter the room before entering the pipe, because then that would have killed the centipede on their way out, and I wouldn't have to deal with them in this room. But it's not a huge deal. Just kidding, he got in my way. So was the time loss. I should try to hand swap with this Eek too. Oh, I'm bad. I pull hopped. No. Oh, nice. That hop turned me around. Thank you, Yeek. I like how Yeeks got updated. Not to fix them, just to make them broken in different ways. This guy sucks. Okay, I got lucky. Maybe you could hand swap, like eat one fruit, then hand swap a second fruit with it, so that you can hold on to a fruit, like a gooey duck. Or I guess if I was already hand swapped, I could just carry one gooey duck into the shelter with me and hold the Eek. Don't stab me. I'm doing a very bad job of avoiding that scavenger. YouTube chat is certainly in a state right now. Red dots at the bottom, yeah, that's the threat level. If there was threat music playing, that's how intense it would be. I mean, the layers of extra instruments are added on. Can't get the big jump on that for some reason. Whoa, yo, the tech, that was kind of sick. I threw the Yeek and then grappled off of them, which pulled me forward. Yeah, new tech of like throwing fruit into the sky to like ladder yourself up. Oh, I should. Well, I'm gonna eat one of those automatically. See if this works out. Yeah, that's absolutely how physics work. Okay, the Yeeks did not want to move. It did not work. That might be my quality settings or something. What are you doing here? Whoa, hella speed. Oh no. Do you go down? Do they always go up and then you take this path? No. Well, that was not great. That was not very good. I spitter. He's facing the wrong direction. Oh, I shouldn't have boosted there. Truly a gameplay of all time. That's so real. I'm still well, actually I'm not hand swapped anymore, right? That's unfortunate. So I had to drop the yeek. Nice. Just kidding, I fast fell or something? They just become a rock the moment you drop them on the floor. That's funny. Nope. I can't wait to... I mean, who knows what pace this is? Probably, like, very average. Nice one. Not yet, though. Echo first. Chickens are not like dinosaurs. They are dinosaurs. Just like how we are fish. Actually, like, pretty much every animal is a fish. Yep, echoes are very consistent. Oh, the blue fruit blocked me. There's probably a way to thread the needle here. You know that one fruit when you're climbing up the wall, in that one room with the pole plants, if you climb up the right side, sometimes the blue fruit gets in your way? But if it's a white lizard, the white lizards can just run past it because they're stronger. Yeah, on the outskirts, on the path to the drainage system, the fruit there, yeah, they also get in the way. No, I hate when that happens. And that. Reset. There's a second rock. Spitter spider is all the way up there. That's kind of rare. Are they gonna try to like... Okay, they're not facing after me. If that spitter spider managed to like pass its way all the way around to where I was, that'd be very impressive and terrifying. I think I finally learned how this room is navigated. Don't do it. Oh my goodness. All of them are gonna do it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. That's great. Thank you. Ow. What the heck? There were like 5 spiders there and they were all in the way. I'm not resetting. No resetting. Minus sheltered opening time lost. Although having a spore puff does let me kill the spiders if they do get stuck in that pipe. No. Come on, man. I just noticed them too late. Why are they in that spot though? That's like pretty far away from the den. I guess because of the long shelter animation. That makes sense. Nice aim, dude. I think it's just creatures are faster when they're in unloaded rooms, and maybe being on a lower quality means that even when I'm in the shelter, they're unloaded. Or is that just how it works normally? Because everything is loading in. I don't know. Or they were loaded in and they just had more time to walk. You know, for whatever reason, that reminds me. There's this game called Line Rider. It's not really a game. It's more like it's like an art medium, really. You basically draw lines that act as a track for this like dude on a sled to run down. And usually people make it sync to music. So it's kind of a game in the sense of you drawing the track and, you know, making the rider like do tricks and stuff and sync with the music and whatever. But also it's kind of just a spectator thing. It's cool to make cool tracks and then people can just watch them, which is what I do. There's just one track, which is absurd. I don't remember the name of it. I'm very sorry. The music that they picked for that track is just a whole album. That's like over an hour long. It might be like 50 minutes long. It's a very long track, and the whole thing syncs with the music, which sounds like a huge pain. And it has like extra arts in all sorts of different places, so it's not just the track. It's like also like decorated. What a crazy thing that some person dedicated probably years to making. Like, yeah, for like an hour. Actually, can I search it up now? If I remember the name. I'm just gonna search line writer and then filter by long videos. This is not very successful. I found it. It is Mount Erie. I believe is the name of the album. Which is 48 minutes long. Okay. What am I doing? I just got the echo, right? So I'm going up. Some of them are blues, some of them are whites. Oh, I got lucky with the centipede. And then no scavengers. That's crazy. One Piece is haunting me. I noticed you mentioned it. I think every single day for the past like 6 months, I've seen at least one reference to One Piece, or even just the name One Piece, because I guess it's pretty common. That's kind of a meme, just that phrase on its own. Oh, hi! I should not have been noticed. But it's haunting me everywhere I go. I see his face. Oh, hi. Actually need to raise your karma to ascend? Yes. I actually tried finding some way to get past the path to Rubicon. Because the ending, of course, for Saint is in Rubicon. But if you enter Rubicon, or if you try to enter Rubicon without enough karma, it just kicks you out. It like the screen loops on itself, so you just kind of keep coming back to the same room over and over again. And I tried for a long time to find a way to skip that. Maybe it is maybe it is possible. But even then, if you don't have your Ascension abilities, you can't kill the Echo or the Guardians. That block your path in Rubicon. So it's just very unrealistic to find any way to skip having to get to every single Echo. Let me guess. One of the obvious criticisms is filler, or is it just the length of the whole thing? Wait, get out of here. Murder them with rocks and hammers. Man, sub-trading and frame rates do not go well together. Upgrade. That's an upgrade. Oh! It worked. Although it's kind of messed up. I forgot if I had to hold up or down doing that. Oh, no centipede here? Who made the Mirrorless Birds? One of the iterators, probably. Or no, the Ancients made them to protect the memory crypts. Wow, thank you. That sucked. And maybe the Ancients use the iterators to help them. Or they have some sort of other factory. I mean, my assumption about the iterators is that they basically solve most of the problems that the Ancients had. But they're like, hey, we have these memory crypts that we want to protect. Can you do something? And they're like, yeah, sure, here's a bird. Like, oh great. It works great. It's very good at killing everything that shows up in this area. Mirrorless vultures are just an abomination. It is nice. I mean, I have not been reading every single YouTube message, but mostly because I glanced at the conversation. I'm like, this is about something completely unrelated. So you guys could just talk with each other. And I'll keep talking about the game or the speedrun or whatever. But, you know, I do try to catch up. Oh, hi. Every once in a while. And it's nice that I can actually maybe reasonably read every single message and not just like... There's some sort of like critical mass with live streams where there's just so many messages you can't even bother. And it's also a feedback loop where the more messages there are, the shorter messages people have to type in order for them to be readable. Until every message is like a few words long or just like emote spam or like, you know, kind of just becomes like a meaningless hive mind of just reactions to whatever is happening, you know. Can you kill Mirrorless Birds? Yes, they are very healthy and dangerous, so it's not really recommended. This sucks. This is awful. That doesn't really help me out that much, actually. Now there's a bunch of bodies in the way. I think it's like 5 or 6 spears to kill a Mirrorless Bird. But the problem is that if you stab with a spear, you need to grab the spear again or find a new one, right? And both of those are very difficult. Both to like find that many spears or to recover the ones that you've already used, right? That centipede right there is like one of the worst creatures in this whole run. I missed. Well, we made it. I don't think I'll be playing Rivulet today. This is also kind of a doomed run since I already died too much. Also, I want to say bad news. Oh. Or is it the no? Oh, you're saying that in reaction to lack of reviews. Sorry. Part of the reason I started streaming is because of a lack of appreciation for smaller games. I think Rain World has firmly placed itself outside of that group. I don't think it's very niche anymore. Maybe the player base is kind of small, but that's just kind of to be expected for a game like this. There are plenty of people who are aware of Rain World and like, oh yeah, that's a good game, but I don't think I'm interested in playing it. It's probably not for me. And that's nice, at least. You know, and you can't expect every single person to play the game if they have a busy schedule or you know, if they just, you know, don't enjoy these kinds of games that require a lot of attempts and dedication. Because like the average Rain World player probably did not enjoy the game for the first who knows how many hours, right? And many people quit the game at some point and only came back to it years later. Or they used like a map or like a YouTube videos to help them out, right? So it's always going to be niche, but it has been for how niche and for how difficult the game is. It's actually done pretty well, you know. But also, you know, it kind of makes me sad. There's a lot of games that I've played that are like so niche and like obscure and like some random Flash game from like 15 years ago, or you know, just like I have plenty of games like that. Those are the kind of games that I want to stream and talk about. Because somewhere out there in the world, there's someone who played that game as a kid and they loved it, and there was never a community to interact with, right? And if you're a fan of Nintendo games, there's infinite Nintendo game content out there, and like discussions and, you know, people playing the game, sharing their thoughts about it, you know, reviews and just, you know, how many videos are there about like Majora's Mask? That just like talk about how the game is really good, or Ocarina of Time, I guess is maybe the more popular one. That I was thinking of. I'm just upside down with the tongue, yeah. Yeah, like some person probably played this like random Flash game forever ago, and they're like, man, that was such a fun game. And then that's it. There's no community to talk about the game with. There's no YouTube videos. There's like nothing. And I want to find some of those games. I mean, of course, I can't find games that other people are interested in, unless I want like recommendations. But I don't know. Some of the games that I enjoyed, that I thought were pretty niche and underappreciated, and be like, hey, this game exists. It's pretty neat, and I want to share it with you guys. Or if a new game releases, like Rainfall is one of them, that I think is really has potential to be like an amazing game. That I want to follow the developments of. I hate when you end up wall jumping when you want to just jump normally with the tongue. Really underappreciated game called Undertale. I'm aware. How much the watch will have to eat? I imagine there's a high chance that they are a copy of Survivor in most aspects. That is my assumption. If not, maybe they need a little bit more food, or a little bit less. Which, I guess that's not too crazy. I mean, like, characters like a Hunter, obviously they need more food. Monk is easy mode, so they need less food. Goron eats a lot, so they eat a lot of food. I mean, the Watcher seems... They're mysterious, they're, you know, kind of sneaky. Maybe they need less food, because they're, like, less active and more just passive. Hiding in the background watching. So maybe like 6, I guess, yeah, 6 food bits is likely. But 7 and 6 are probably equally likely. That's my guess. Although 6 is even, so it's a bit weird with like the distribution of I guess that means that they're able to store less, or they sleep twice in a row. So actually, I think 7. The same as Survivor. And I actually hope that the Watcher is less crazy than the Downpour Slugcats. The whole point of Downpour is, here's a bunch of Slugcats with crazy abilities. Have fun. The Watcher, I don't think will just repeat that again. Be like, here's a Slugcat with so many cool, crazy abilities. That's not, we're not doing that anymore. Modders can do that kind of thing, you know? And so Survivor is just a very good base to just say, here's a Slugcat. Here's a default average Slugcat. Maybe they have like one unique ability. And that's it. Chance of a Mirror Soldier swooping down and killing you in that screen is not 0. You know, I might as well switch up this game. Yeah, looks odd. How much water time does I already have? Like a few seconds. I mean, there's this any problem with being in water or touching water. It's being completely submerged under it. Maybe it's like it's a breath related thing. Maybe that's just the way it's easiest to program it. Or maybe there's like a critical mass where it's like a little bit of water is fine, but too much, like there's like a chain reaction that happens when it's completely covered in water. Low lung capacity. Hi, Troll Lizard. It's been a while. Trolling as usual. There's 2 blue lizards in Silent Construct that aren't particularly dangerous, but they always mess with you in small and annoying ways. So I call them the troll lizards. I guess I'm usually referring to the first lizard that shows up. They're usually more annoying than they're more of a troll than the second one. See, like this. It's a trap. They just sit down there and wait for you. It's like, okay, it's not that hard to just bait them out of the way, but you know, that's one of their little behaviors. And then there's gonna be another blue lizard around here, maybe. Oh, I think I crossed it in the pipe. No. That Miros bird did not even try to get me. I just jumped into its mouth and it was faster than me. Probably should not have taken that risk in the first place, but I thought I could outrun it. Okay, I don't know what that was. Flash games are so funny to me. What a different era. I guess Flash games still exist, right? They got like deleted and then like kind of revived sort of slowly over time. Oh wow. Yeah, please leave me alone. Yeah, it changed direction. That's pretty rare. But you just like go onto some random website and here's like a trillion games. Most of them probably suck, but you know, maybe there's like one good one out there. You're probably just gonna judge them by the like thumbnail that it shows you. Oh, this one has a cool spaceship on it. I want to play this one. There's this one game that I like an RTS. I don't remember the name of it. It was like the third game in a series. 2D Minecraft clone. Hell yeah. There were like probably like 1,000 of those. Actually, it's probably Roblox. That is the replacement of Flash games. That and mobile games. Here's a place where there's a trillion games that you can play for free on most devices. Is it an upgrade or a downgrade? Probably a downgrade, but I'm sure there's some good ones out there. I mean, how much are kids going to filter through the slop? Probably not much. I don't know. But I guess that same thing kind of happened with the Flash games. It's just nostalgia or bias. Yeah, surely the games that I played were good or better than the ones that other people play. There's something that's a little bit tragic. There's this game called Robocraft that I've talked about before on this channel. It was a game where you build a robot and then you fight other robots that other people built. It was a multiplayer game. In like teams of like 10. Oh, that was close. And for the first few years of its existence, maybe like 2 years or 3, I guess it was in like kind of some sort of early access or like a alpha state, and then like, I don't know. kind of a mess. In the first like 2 years of its existence, it was like a really cool game. Why? How did Blue Lizard spawns out of nowhere? Goodness. And then a bunch of updates came out. I mean, it was already getting regularly updated, but there was a series of updates that really tanked the quality of the game. The main one was pretty much completely eliminating the progression system, which was like one of the unique parts of the game. How you could like get new equipment and like upgrades for your robots in different tiers. Now each tier had like a unique set of items that you could equip. Like rail guns were like the long-range sniper type weapon, but they were only accessible in tier 4 and above, right? So the earlier tiers did not have rails or rail guns. Like there were components to make a plane, but they were only accessible to like tier 6 or tier 5 and up had flying robots. It's a really cool game. It no longer exists. I think they took the servers down very recently. Either that's or they're going to in the near future. That and the sequel, Robocraft 2, which was an attempt, a failed attempt to revive the old version of the game, the way it felt. This was I don't need to hit you multiple times. I don't know why I'm doing that. Peak Robocraft was probably 2015. Or 14, depending on who you ask. There's a specific update in 2015, which I think marks the beginning of the end. And then in 2016, some big changes happened that kind of tanked the whole game, like loot boxes. But that game no longer exists. They took the servers down. Something happened with the developers, the whole like studio. I don't know. It's kind of a mess. But those games are gone, which is sad. But you know they weren't very good. But it's kind of sad to know that they were good and they've just been. And if there's like a series, like a game series that eventually became bad, like the first game and the second game were really good, but then the third game was kind of, you know, mixed, and then like the later games were like really not good. You can go back and play the old games, right? They still exist if they're preserved. You know, sometimes that isn't the case. I need to kill Pebbles for the speedrun. It's faster to exit out of the game than to run all the way back to the shelter, and it saves the progress. It saves the fact that you ascended him after you exit out, so it still counts for because it's one of the things that we need to do for the speedrun. But you know, for it's kind of impossible for a multiplayer game to yeah, I guess you could like run the server yourself if they provide the tools for it, or if you can like mod it somehow, or you know, I guess it just has support for local servers or LAN. But then it's like you have to coordinate a group of people to play the game, and you know, maybe there's like some random Discord server out there with a community that you can try to figure that out with. But it's not the same coordinating with a group than just playing online with like randoms, you know. That was part of the charm of Robocraft, the fact that you could be creative with the robot that you made, but everyone else on your team also was, which led to mixed results of people making robots entirely for art reasons and zero combat abilities, or people tryharding and making like exclusively robots optimized for combat. Now we're overpowered because the game was very unbalanced. even in its peak, it was an unbalanced game, and I think attempts to fix the balance actually kind of made it worse. Like removing the progression system. But you know, sometimes I would do the stupidest stuff in that game. Like weapons had recoil. So if your robot was a single block and a gun, oops, this is the wrong path. If your robot was a single block with a gun, it would have enough recoil to move itself around. So I would go into battle as a single gun and just launch myself around with recoil, and maybe I would like damage some boss, but you're so fragile, of course, you're gonna die pretty quickly. I don't know why I'm doing that. Much faster to swim like this. I'm talking about Robocraft, a game that is dead. And like it is dead in the sense that it just, you can't play it anymore. Unless you're talking about other stuff in the chat. Lunch. Nice snack. Leviathans finally have a food source that is matches their scale. Actually, they're not very. They don't have much food, right? They're like 8 like slime mold or something. Which is, why didn't they just recolor the slime mold? Why is it like orange? Like it's straight up just slime mold. That the big jellyfish drop, which makes no sense lore wise, but you know, it's a thing in the game now. All they had to do was take the white recolored ones, just make those the food. Would it be that bad to make one new food item for a creature that is basically just a copy of another one? Monster Hunter, I don't think my PC is able to run that game in any capacity. And even if it was able to, I would not be interested. I have no interest in the Monster Hunter series. I appreciate it. It's cool. I think people generally like the game, right? Yeah, they're cool. They have nice animations. I don't really want to play the games though. I got rocks in this room perfectly blended in with the floor. Ooh, that was risky. I should not have done that. Yeah, if you're in the same room as a snail, that's pretty risky. Let's be honest. Excuse me. The Jason. Is there a centipede fonts yet? Oh, great. Okay, that works. Just remember just to keep the ability enabled. This is why. No kelp for some reason. Probably should enter this room with the ability to active 2. Sorry about that. I messed up that E-slide. That's one of my favorite E-slides to do in the whole game. It lines up with the room so perfectly. Just got shot. It's like, oh shoot. Is that a spitter? Oh, now they left. It's like, Duck Hunt. with the, where you shoot the screen with the gun. That's what Saint is. Nice slide. Saint, yeah, that's Sainted Arena mode. That's so real. It's like good luck. I feel like there's so much more to arena mode. The skill ceiling is like really high and we don't really know. If you don't know, the tournaments, the arena mode tournaments that I was in a while back, there were some players in that tournament who had not actually played Randall that much, but they did very well. They actually got to like the final or the second to last round with like the last round that was the you know what I mean. There were some good players, or yeah, there were new players who were really good, surprisingly. And I think that's because there's maybe some elements of skill that aren't, you know, because Rainbow skill doesn't 100% translate to arena skill. Like obviously like movement and like accuracy with spears helps, but if you have some good fundamentals and like strategies that actually work out, you could still do very well. Like there's also a lot of like intuition in like, in any given position, where are you vulnerable from, right? Like if I'm standing right here, where could another Sluggat stand where they could threaten me, right? And you need to evaluate that very quickly in an arena setting where there's Sluggats everywhere and it's very chaotic. Like where do you stand to be safe, right? That is a skill that I suck at. Because 80% of the time in lobbies larger than 4 people, I die in like half a second to some random spear that I didn't see coming. That is my arena experience, unless it's a small group. Unless it's a small group of people, right? But if you're really good at that particular skill, and you can like what the heck? And you can like, all right, stand right here to be safe from that player. Stand right here, dodge that spear. You know, if you could do that really well, you could probably be like a much better player. And if you also know like what positions in the map can I stand to hit players, but they can't hit me? Is that even a thing in the game? I think so, right? Because of gravity. I mean, if you're like higher up on the map, maybe someone lower than you struggles to hit you if you can angle your spear downwards, or a down throw. It's a pretty important skill too. Up throws do exist, but they're harder to do and do less damage. I do kind of like the idea of trying to actually get really good at arena mode. I don't know. I already won 1 tournament. I think that's pretty good. Wait, there's a... What the heck? I didn't know about this. You could just climb up here. Okay, that's probably the route that people take that I just didn't know about. Whoops. Yeah, jumping, throwing, and then you fall down very quickly. Back to cover. Oh, you're dead. That's good. And like, how about avoiding trades? Like, some players end up in a situation where they're very good at trading with people, which means they don't get any wins, and wins are kind of the only thing that matters at the end of the day, right? So if there's some way that you can consistently... Oh my goodness, he pushed me out of the fight. Hop up, take a spear in the head, fall down. I thought the game was about to be permanently slowed down. And rivulets, I think rivulet has a really high skill ceiling that I have not reached in arena mode specifically. Because I can do wall pounces, but I'm very inaccurate when throwing spears after wall pouncing. But I think that's a very important skill to have for Riv. Because it's such a burst of speed that's hard to react to as the opponents, you know? When a Riv is wall pouncing around, they're moving so quickly, it's hard to track their position, especially with a little bit of delay, you know? But if you're the rivulet player, you have the advantage of timing things, right? You can just practice like wall pounce and then throw your spear right when you're at the perfect height, right? That's something that you can improve. And maybe you can get to the point where you can wall pounce around the map. Like you'd also practice like wall pounce chains on specific arena maps, like that one with like all the pits that are vertical. I don't really know the names of them. But if you could very quickly like do a wall pounce chain and throw a spear at the perfect time to hit a slug cat, like that's like very hard to it's like very little counterplay, you know, because you're moving so quickly. And you can always mix it up by like not doing the wall pounce, or you know, delaying it randomly, or you know, there's things you can do. Wow. Okay. Goodbye. That's something that I struggled with in the tournaments when I was playing Riv. Sometimes it worked out, but sometimes I would just like do a wall bounce and then get myself killed because I did not actually hit them with a spear. And part of why I play Artificer, because they're way slower and easier to control. The double jumps are like super reliable. Okay. Oh my goodness, I almost died to that. So apparently Mirror's Vultures can spawn in any 1x1 tile gap. When they're abstract. I think it's because they're abstracted or something like that. So if they fit, they sit and then kill you. Because they don't fit at all. They definitely do not. Oof, my tail. This is really bad. I can recharge for a little bit. Time to die to red lizards. I should have taken the other path, honestly, if I want to avoid deaths. Crispy tail. funny like fire bugs are a creature that exists in the game. But they barely do. Then they're in one area in the whole game where you have the ability to one-shot creatures. They're basically just a food source that moves around randomly. That's their whole behavior. Yep, Rubicon is the deep fryer. There's like maybe like a 10%, I think it's like a 4% chance. 4% chance when I enter one of the next rooms that I just die instantly. So look forward to that. Oh, don't touch this thing. That was risky. I could probably outrun it in this area, but I'm not dead. Wow, okay. Can we just... I guess I'll... You know what, I'll take the other path. Because I like it more. It's very safe. If you ignore the mirror soldiers. I guess I should maybe stay on screen. So at least I know how to dodge the vulture. This is why people don't like Rubicon, especially in speedruns. Is there any trick to deal with them? Nope. Not that I know of. The trick is to get lucky and never see one at all, as is the case for most of Rain World. This one little pit that you could, like one tile dip that you get stuck in. I tried the creature fling there, but I totally messed up the inputs. And also there's like barely any space there to do anything. This Vulture trying to eat the kelp. The kelp won. Oh yeah, that's way easier. This is the worst part of this route. There are still mirror soldiers here, and the camera is like, we stay really high, close to the top of the camera, so they can show up and kill you very quickly before you have time to react. Because he gave up. That's pretty rare. I died in this realm. I died in this room to this fire bug before. Oh, don't grab them with the tongue. I don't like it. Sorry, that was the priority. I have to sit here and just wait now. It's kind of funny that they made one of these rooms just full of random creatures that technically can harm things. But they're not, like, predators. There's also snails in the next area. If you take the path to the right in this room, that leads to the whole, like, Easter egg thing. And always do this for safety. There's a very high chance of there being a snail in that pipe, and you will die. Maybe, actually, I don't know. You'll lose a lot of time at least to get popped by that snail. And pay attention in these rooms. You probably want to sit here and recover for a little bit. Don't jump out of this pipe, you will die to the soup. And maybe there's some ways that you could like use the tongue to swing across this room. But you're getting like dangerously close to the soup. So I don't know if it's worth it. Honestly, it might be worth retiming this whole segment. See if this is really slower than the other path. I think it's so much safer that it would be worth... Even if it's like a minute slower, I think for most runners that's probably a worthwhile change to the routes. Yeah, you're a minute slower, but you're gonna finish way more runs by not dying to you know, like Mirror Soldiers or Red Lizards or you know, other stuff in Rubicon. Forgot how this room works. Pretty cool shader they use here. That like makes the screen look all fragmented, shattered, I guess. Probably should have saved the throw boost for the next room. That was okay. A bunch of deaths in Subterranean and Rubicon. But really, my main goal was just to finish a run and to blow up. But I think we're done here. I may do another stream like this where I run rivulets. Yeah. Rivet's a fun run. Maybe I'll try out some, or do more like hand swap stuff too, but the best ending run, I don't really want to... It's a cool idea, but it seems like kind of annoying to set up. And it's pretty much exactly the same as any percent, but you skip, you know, some annoying rooms in Rubicon. Which honestly would be a better alternative to the way any percent is now. Because honestly, Rubicon is probably the worst part of that run. Although I guess they're kind of exactly the same. I guess the parts the story percent add over any percent just makes it a little bit shorter, but not that much more difficult. Riv moon percent. What's the progress on moon percent? Because I a while back when I was focusing on those runs, I did one moon percent run of every category except for Artificer, of course, because they have no moon, but I did do moon percent runs for all the downboard characters that have access to moon. So if 2 more people did the same thing, then they'd become a real category. Riv moon percent has the most plinks of any speedrun. It's very funny. You could pretty much plink in every single room with shoreline, sometimes even twice in a row. The only problem with the run is the red centipede in garbage wastes, plus planks just being really difficult and inconsistent. Honestly, if you want to optimize it, there's also like one really difficult jump in garbage wastes in a weird way. Use snails. Stun the centipede. I mean, it's more of like you either jump over the centipede in like 2 seconds, or they like form a wall and they just block your path completely. Maybe a snail is useful then. Yeah, moon percent is just get to moon. That's it. It's not like pebbles percent. So, you know, for most characters, it's a pretty short category, just like a run over to... What's the hard jump? It's in... Let me find the room number. In garbage wastes. Right above the rot room. CO8. There's, from the pole... So, you know, in the middle of the room, there's 3 poles. And the way that you're supposed to do the room is to run across it, and then go through the pipe, and then run across the top. On the pole, you can jump and then impale a spear on the wall on the right. But it's only possible with the throw boost, so if you don't grab the spear as you pin it into the wall, you have to find another item to throw boost with. You can't use the bullet fruit because they'll pop in your hands. And it's a pretty important jump to hit to like pin that spear, because then you get to skip the whole like walk around the rest of the room, which I guess it's only a few seconds, but it's a pretty short run, right? So it's just like a very precise, like you don't want to be too close to the ceiling when you're on the pole that you bonk your head when you jump, but you don't want to be too low that you just can't reach the spear. Honestly, if we could get one more person to do Riv moon percent, that's you could do that. Maybe I'll do the run again, try to optimize it a bit more, because I think the run that I did was not optimal in terms of plinks. So, like, hitting every single plink in shoreline is pretty difficult. And you also want to like get plinks to be as horizontal as possible for speed, of course. I guess 45-degree angle. Maybe that will be the next stream. In September? Ah, alright. Anyway. Thanks for watching, everyone. Did movie percent, but you deleted the footage? Well, do it again then. how exactly do we go about making it a category? I guess we just ask Iced or Shrub about it. Hey, add this category. Yeah. Thanks everyone for watching. See ya.